Humans, we always talk about the fear of failure, how it paralyzes us, keep us playing small, or stop us from trying in the first place. But let's flip it for a second. What if it's not fear of failure that you're afraid of, but actually winning? What if the real fear is becoming the version of yourself you say you want to be? The one who's consistent, confident, seen, successful, respected. The one who actually did the work and now has the light to show for it. Welcome to Vibes N Affirmations, where there's a thin line between crashing out and keeping it all together. I'm your host, Chi, your forever is a reason and sometimes chaos. And today, we're talking about the fear of success. Because let's be honest, sometimes the closer you get to the thing that you prayed for the most, the more you start to pull back. You start to procrastinate. You start to overthink. You find a reason to delay, and suddenly the blessing that was on its way, you blocked it with doubt, perfectionism, that familiar voice in your head that whispered, what if I'm not ready? But here's the truth. Most of us, we aren't stuck because we don't know what to do. We're stuck because we keep ourselves down. We're scared of what happens when we actually do it right. Let's talk about it. Why is the idea of success just as scary, if not even scarier than failure? Why do we sabotage when we're finally being seen, supported, and aligned? And most importantly, how do we break free from the fear and step into the version of ourselves that we know that we're capable of being? Let's unpack it all, because your next level is waiting, but it can't meet you if you keep hiding behind your comfort zone. Let's get into it. Before we dive in deep, let's set the tone with today's affirmation. Are you ready? I'm ready for success, and I will not shrink to make others comfortable. Yes, say it with me. I am ready for success, and I will not shrink to make others comfortable. Sometimes the thing that keeps us stuck isn't lack of skill or lack of opportunity. It's the fear of what happens after the breakthrough. So we dim, we play it small, we downplay our wins to avoid making others uncomfortable. We water ourselves down, we water our goals down, so no one accuses us of doing too much. But here's the truth. You're not responsible for shrinking so other people stay at their comfort level. You're allowed to outgrow what once fit. You're allowed to level up, to shine, to succeed unapologetically. And you're allowed to want more, even if that makes people around you uncomfortable. So let today's affirmation be a reminder. You don't need to downplay your success. You do not need to play small to be liked, and you don't need to apologize for stepping into your power. Say it with me one more time for the people in the back. I'm ready for success, and I will not shrink to make others comfortable. Let's carry that energy the rest of this episode. Humans, let's talk about something that doesn't get enough attention. The fear of success. I know it sounds wild at first, like why would anyone be scared of winning, of leveling up, of walking into everything you've been praying for? But sit with it, because sometimes the fear of what comes after the glow up is heavier than the fear of failure itself. See, when you fail, people expect it. It's safe. You get sympathy. You stay small. No pressure. But when you win, when you start actually shining, when the blessing starts pouring in, now there's an expectation. Now you have something to lose. Now people are watching. Now that can be just as terrifying as falling flat. Here's what fear of success actually looks like in real life. You start a project, and immediately you think of ways that it might fall apart. You talk yourself out of applying, submitting, showing up just because you don't feel ready. Even when everything inside you know that you are. Have you ever slowed yourself down on purpose just because things were going too well? Be honest. Have you ever had the it's too good to be true moment? Like, hold on, this can't be going right. Something gotta go wrong soon. That mindset, that's fear talking. Do you ever feel uncomfortable with the idea of outgrowing certain people, certain environments? Woof. This one hits for me because sometimes the fear isn't about the win. It's about what or who you might have to leave behind to step into the next level. And that guilt, that loyalty to your comfort zone, that's what keeps many of us playing small. What's one moment in your life where you had the opportunity to elevate and you hesitated? Was it a job, a relationship, a move, a new project? Think about it. Think about the moment and ask yourself, did you back away because you weren't ready or because deep down you didn't believe you deserved it? The truth is, success requires an identity shift. It forces you to become a version of you that can handle visibility, responsibility, abundance, and sometimes criticism. It means showing up constantly. And that weight, that's not for the faint of heart. But guess what? You carry it. You just have to stop being scared.
Pretty, bro. I thought this bitch was old as fuck. Genesis asked me yesterday, how old is she turning? I'm like 30. She's like, wow. I'm like, yeah, the bitch is 31, y'all.
It's 31. It's 31.
But what would be the advice that you give your 21-year-old self?
Damn, what's the word?
What do you tell her right now if you could talk to her?
She should travel more often.
There was a moment where I realized something deep. I wasn't scared of failing. I was scared of what success would require out of me. Not just the cute parts either. I'm talking about real pressure, real responsibility, the kind that demands growth, consistency, and change. The kind that forces you to look around and be like, damn, if I really go after this shit, after my dreams, my life is gonna shift. And not everyone and everything can come with me. And that made me hesitate because it wasn't about the fear of being seen. It was about the fear of being seen clearly for who I am, for what I stand for what I'm building. Success meant showing up in a new way. It meant people expecting more of me. It meant I couldn't play small anymore or keep using potential as a crutch. It meant outgrowing environments I'll be comfortable in, letting go of people who I loved, but who weren't ready to grow with me, saying no to what was familiar so I could say yes to something greater. And that shit was scary. That shit is scary. There's comfort in chaos when it's all you know, but stepping into alignment, that takes courage. I realized that success isn't about money, more opportunities, more visibility. It's about more truth, more clarity. And truthfully, that's heavy. Success isn't just about gaining more. It's about being okay with change. It's about understanding that you can love people and still outgrow them. You can miss your old life and still step fully into your new one. You can be scared and still be ready, because at the end of the day, fear doesn't stop. It means you're on the edge of a transformation. Let's unlock signs that you might think you want to level up, but somewhere deep down, you're actually blocking your own blessings. And no judgment here. I've been there, done that, do it too often if you ask me. Sometimes we're doing the work, but we're also doing the sabotage, quietly, subconsciously, out of fear. Number one, procrastinating right before big opportunities. You ever notice how right before something major happens, something you pray for, you suddenly start stalling? Why do we do that? I think it's because deep down, we have linked success with pressure. And pressure triggers fear. I urge you to start recognizing that discomfort doesn't always mean danger. It usually means growth. Stretching into the next version of yourself will feel awkward at first, but that doesn't mean you stop. It means you go. Progress requires movement through resistance. Number two, dimming yourself down to make other people feel comfortable. You ever start achieving something, a new job, new level of peace, whole rebrand of your life, and suddenly you feel guilty? You shrink in conversations, you downplay your job, you avoid talking about your wins because people around you aren't winning right now. I want you to remember that success is not betrayal. Your growth isn't a threat, it's a blueprint. The people meant to be with you, meant to rise with you, will be inspired, not intimidated. And the ones who feel some type of way, they're just revealing their own fears, projecting. And that's not a flaw in you. Let's talk about people who hit a milestone after milestone, but never pause and clap for themselves. That's you? Yeah, let's call it out. You minimize your achievements. You say it's not a big deal. You keep it moving on to the next goal, but you didn't actually acknowledge that you just broke a generational fucking cycle. You bounced back from a setback and grew through what should have buried you. Why? Because somehow along the way, you started believing that joy should be earned, not claimed. Own your wins, y'all. You didn't come this far just to act like it was fucking luck. Give yourself some fucking credit. Celebrate out loud, because success isn't about arrival. It's about acknowledgement that you made it through the fire and still showed up and shined through. You don't owe anyone a smaller version of yourself. Let's take a moment to pause and reflect, because awareness is the first step to alignment. Ask yourself honestly, what's a time I slowed myself down because success felt too big? Do you delay applying for the opportunity, talk yourself out of that because you were scared, chose comfort over growth? Who am I afraid of outgrowing if I fully stepped into my potential? What's one win that hasn't been fully celebrated, and why? Was it imposter syndrome? Guilt? Because here's the truth. Success doesn't have to feel scary. You're not doing too much. You're becoming exactly who you're meant to be. You've done the work. You have weathered the storms, and now the blessings are knocking. Don't run from the door. Walk through it boldly, bravely, unapologetically. Say it with your chest. I'm ready for success, and I will not shrink to make others comfortable. You don't have to dim your light to be loved. Shine anyway. You don't have to downplay your wins to stay relatable. Celebrate them anyway. You don't have to hold yourself back just to keep the peace. Evolve anyway. At the end of the day, success only feels scary when a part of you still questions if you deserve it or not. But hear me loud and clear. You do. You've put in the work. You have grown through what you've gone through. And now life is starting to reflect that. So why are you flinching? You don't have to feel guilty for winning. You don't have to water yourself down so the people around you can stay comfortable. You don't have to self-sabotage just to keep things familiar, because comfort does not always equal peace. And sometimes the biggest act of love is letting go of who you used to be so you can fully become who you're meant to. Success comes with change, yes. It comes with new responsibilities, new boundaries, new levels of exposure. But guess what? You're built for it. You've always been built for it. You were never meant to play it small. You were never meant to dim your light just to fit in rooms you have outgrown. And deep down, you already knew that. So here's my reminder. You are not too much. You're simply rising. That's it for today's episode of Vibes and Affirmations. If this message hit, share with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, humans, stay solid and keep vibing.